The radical Islamist controlled Bangladesh administration is suddenly panicked. Till the other day, they were bluffing about their strength. They were even warning India that they are going to capture a few Indian states. The leadership was actually indulging in political brinkmanship. The hawks in Bangladesh administration and radical Islamist groups in Bangladesh were indulging in rabid hate speech. They had even started attacking Hindus and other minorities in Bangladesh. But why all on a sudden they got panicked? There is a very clear reason for this. This is because the Bangladesh Myanmar border is now under the control of Arakan Army, or Arakan Army has taken control of Myanmar's border with Bangladesh. The Arakan Army is a Buddhist army, and these are people who have an eye on Chittagong, which is the most busy port in Bangladesh. And they have an eye on in the entire Chittagong division of Bangladesh also. The Arakan Army consists of people who have lost no love for Muslims, and these are people who are accused of carrying out a genocide in Rakhine state and driving out Rohingya Muslims from Rakhine state. So now you know the reason for the panic of Bangladesh government. Now there are now several questions are being raised. What will be the attitude of Arakan Army towards India? How Arakan Army is going to change geopolitics in Bangladesh as well as Myanmar? How is that going to affect India? What is their attitude towards India? And they have already made some responses regarding this. I think these factors are worth taking a hard look at. So let's discuss in detail. Welcome to Insights. This is Hari Kumar. Let's start from the current political situation in Rakhine state. A war has been going on between Arakan Army and Myanmar Army over the last few years. And it was almost in equilibrium. The Myanmar Army was unable to suppress Arakan Army, but the Arakan Army was unable to drive out Myanmar Army and take control of the area. But in the last couple of years, things started slowly changing. And in the last 7-8 months, things started changing drastically. A few months ago, reports appeared in Indian newspapers that around 500 Myanmar soldiers took asylum in refuge in India. They were actually being chased by Arakan Army, and they wanted to save their life. That was why they entered India. And they surrendered before Indian Army, and Indian Army later sent them back to Myanmar. Now you might have realized the upper hand of Arakan Army at present. Recently, the last stronghold of Myanmar Army in Rakhine state also fell. After a prolonged battle, the heavily fortified area was captured by Arakan Army, and hundreds of Myanmar soldiers were killed and others just vacated the area. They ran away from the area. And now Arakan Army says they are in total control of the 270-kilometer border with Bangladesh. There is a river named Naf River between Bangladesh and Myanmar, and Arakan Army is controlling the river also. Reports have appeared that Bangladesh fishermen are now afraid of going for fishing in Naf River. So now you got an idea of what happened, the geopolitical reality in the area at present. Then, let's look into the attitude of Arakan Army towards Muslim community. The Rakhine state, which is in the northwestern part of Myanmar, has a Buddhist majority. Almost 75% of the population is Buddhist. They got around 20%, around nearly 18 to 20% of Muslims also. You have got 5% other minorities like Hindus are there, Hindu tribals are there, Christians are there, and other smaller animist groups are also there. That is the situation in the area. So, broadly speaking, you got around 18% Muslims in the area, and Arakan Army wanted to clear the area of Muslims. They don't want Muslims to stay there. Now let's go back in history. There was a powerful kingdom named Rakhine in 15th, 16th centuries. Even earlier it was there. And for some time in history, they were they became vassals of Bengal sultans, and they were under Muslim rule. Then after around 200, 300 years, they rebelled and they defeated Muslim rulers and they declared independence. And they were even in control of parts of in Chittagong and parts of division areas like Cox's Bazar, etc. Now, naturally, they have got an eye on Chittagong. So, this is what Bangladesh administration knows all this history very well, and that is why they are panicked. And what is their attitude towards India? You know, China is not arming them. The US is also not arming them. China is actually in very good friendship with the military junta which is ruling Myanmar and against whom Arakan Army is fighting. So definitely they don't have any love lost for China. And regarding United States, there is no evidence that US is supporting these rebels. There are some speculations or conspiracy theories that India is training them and arming them. I don't know. There are no evidences in the public domain in this issue. But anyway, the rise of a Buddhist state which is not friendly with China and which doesn't compromise with radical Islamist groups, I think this is strategically positive for India. Anyway, you know the Rakhine state has got borders with Manipur, Mizoram areas, and considering the present unrest in or militancy in Manipur, I think India needs to engage with Arakan Army. Actually, India has already started engaging with Arakan Army from March this year. This is one important thing. And you know, the second aspect is India has invested heavily in this Rakhine province. There is a big project, big multimodal transport project named Kaladan project. This includes, you know, development of Sitaway port in Myanmar. India has heavily invested in it. The India Ports Global (IPG) is now has got operating rights of Sitaway port, and you know, considering this situation, India has got very strategic stake in this area, and already the Arakan Army has said they are not averse regarding engaging with India. They said the project will not suffer in any way just because they captured Rakhine district, and they said they are willing to engage with discussions with India and they are actually interested in the development of ports. The Kaladan project, as I said, is a multimodal transport project and it aims at creating or linking Calcutta with Sitaway port. It's a win-win situation for both Arakan people and India. I think so. Considering this, India needs to engage with Arakan Army. And the rise of a new Buddhist state which doesn't share the interests of radical Islamists in Bangladesh is excellent for India. So I think India should even think about arming Arakan people, Arakan Army, and even giving them training. There is nothing wrong in it, because the rise of a small state in Myanmar, which is not friendly with China, which doesn't share strategic interests with radical Islam, actually suits India's interests. So I think this will, if some amount of the Arakan Army is able to bring some amount of stability in Western Myanmar, and they are able to entrench themselves in power, I think nothing like that, and this is going to help India. Anyway, the gibberish being aired by Bangladeshi hawks and radical Islamists has suddenly stopped. Now they have realized the new danger, and the emerging situation is in a way beneficial to India. But we need to be wary also, because a militant group can come under the influence of anybody who offers them help. But as of now, the evolving situation is not against India. That's for now. Meet you with another topic next time. Till then, goodbye.